hostage.
Now call the.
I'll take the day
One
off.
second.
Recover over the weekend.
Zoom, YouTube takes a little bit. Zoom.
What is it?
Okay, you're good. You're all set.
We call, I'd like to call the infrastructure committee meeting for April to order. I have a roll call of members. Everyone is present. I'll go with that.
There you go. Perfect. Totally acceptable.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the March 7th infrastructure committee meeting. Jennifer, second by
Kelly.
Councilor Kelly. All of everybody has a chance to read that. And there are no corrections or additions. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve of the motion, vote on approving the minutes of the March 7th infrastructure committee. Roll call, Councilor Kelly,
Yes.
Councilor
Yes.
myself, yes, and
Yes.
yes, all right, good. Under 2, draft resolution under environmental 2.1, authorized counseling services for updating our waste recycling facility up on Reeves Lane.
Make a motion.
Make motion.
Yeah, make a motion.
Second. Okay,
Discussion?
yes.
Yeah, so this is a consulting services contract with Stantec to review the DEC's updated regulations for permitting of that facility. We already have a permit of that facility already. And this is an upgrade to any permitting needs for that facility. But it is a permit that we actively maintain and ongoingly maintain for that property. And that's something that we want to continue to maintain.
John, since I've seen this before, how often do we have to renew this? Is it every couple of years?
So this one's for the air permit out there. We've got a speedies permit for water discharge, a solid waste permit for processing biosolids. This one's for the air permit. And when the air permits were originally issued under this program, there were no expiration dates on them, so you never had to renew them. They realized that probably wasn't a good thing. So more recently, they revised their requirements and they now require you to renew them every 10 years. So this is actually our first renewal since we got the permit for this 15 or 20 years ago.
Okay, I thought I remembered seeing before it was a different permit.
Yeah, it's probably a different permit.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? If not, all in favor of moving this to the regular agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion is carried. Resolution 2.2, authorize wastewater recycling process dewatering upgrades. I'll make a motion. Second.
Second.
Discussion.
So one of the construction projects we have at the WRF is the upgraded dewatering system. There's 3 prime contracts on it. Contract G is the general contract, is the biggest one. And this is a change order to the WRF, which takes allowances that were built into the contract and credits back money to the city for unused portions of those allowances. So it's actually a deduct or credit change order, so it's decreasing the contract price. And we're expecting this to be the last one and to start closing out these 3 construction projects on the dewatering system.
This is basically that belt.
The belt filter press is correct, yeah.
It's kind of closing it out. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
You
Any
guys,
further
I'm
discussion?
sorry, you guys have seen that in the works, the new belt filter press?
The new one?
The
No.
new, yeah.
Go
To
down.
get you down for a tour, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that the one that's upstairs?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, did we see that when we did the tour, or is it that old one?
I think you saw it, but it wasn't running.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
if you want to come out on a Friday afternoon when it's running and go home
Oh.
stinking.
Okay.
That was me. I did that. I gave a couple tours last
He
week.
texted me, he's like, is this normal?
Is that normal? Am I supposed to smell like cat litter? He's like, yes, that is normal.
Is there any further discussion? If not, proceed to vote. All in favor of moving this to the regular agenda, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion is carried. Resolution title amendment 1 to parking kiosk purchase and service agreement.
Motion.
We're, we went through that. Is the discussion?
Oh,
Or is that part of
discussion,
it?
sorry. I did the same thing. We're under discussion. I know.
Whoops. It's going through my.
Yeah, I was going to do the same thing.
Okay. Discussion sustainable organics management, past practice, long-term strategy.
Just wanted to give you an update on something that's coming forward. The State Department of Environmental Conservation, they have a solid waste management plan that outlines where they're heading with solid waste over the years. Their plan pretty clearly states that they don't want organics going to landfills. They feel that there's a better and higher use for those organics, and that the state prefers recycling and sustainability. City's got three main types of organics. We've got our biosolids, which are the residuals that come out of the wastewater when we treat it. We've got food waste that's in the trash, and we've got paper waste that's in the trash. All three of those are specifically identified in this plan as the state really not wanting that stuff to go there into landfills. DEC's already forbidden large food waste generators from sending their food waste to landfills if there's an organics processing facility within 50 miles or something like that. So the writing's on the wall. They're pushing food out. They're going to be pushing biosolids out and paper waste out. So we want to be prepared for that time when it comes, especially with our biosolids. So we want to develop a sustainable long-term management plan for our organics. Going to be sending out a request for proposals to consultants to get some technical assistance with developing that plan, and probably get those back in about 4 weeks, and then we'll go through a review and analysis process, and then probably be recommending some kind of award to the council for those technical services to help us develop this long-term sustainable organics management plan. So wanted to give you a heads up on that. We're keeping an eye on where the regulations are going, where the market conditions and market pressures are, and making sure that we do have a long-term, affordable, and appropriate and sustainable management plan for all our organics.
Whose responsibility would that fall upon? I mean, we're not the only people who pick up this sort of waste.
So if you're talking about food scraps and paper waste and trash, the landfills ultimately is what DEC is going to regulate. But landfills and the DEC might start putting requirements on collectors and generators. So in the case of food waste, they've already put regulations on the food waste generators. If you make more than a ton a week, you've got to take it to an organics processing facility. So that's typically larger places. SUNY might fall into that category, maybe some of the nursing homes, some supermarkets that are, got butchers and making foods and all that. So the state can regulate the generator, they can regulate disposal facilities. Those
So
are
it
two
wouldn't
big-
all fall back on the city.
No, but as the collector of the waste, there might be some requirements there about what we need to require our customers to do. It's just at a training session on, it's really exciting, it's on FOG, fats, oils, and greases in sewers. But we've, I tell you what, you want to sit through 8 hours of fog training, oh my goodness. But we can regulate those kind of organics going into sewers to make sure they don't get put into sewers. So in that case, we can regulate the generator, restaurants and things like that, so. Anyway, I wanted to give you an update on that's in the works. And you're going to hear a lot more about organics management and sustainability and trying to figure out what we should be thinking about doing to set ourselves up for the next 20, 30 years to make sure that we can manage all this stuff in an appropriate way, but in an affordable way too.
Any other questions? Mr. Ruffalo is up there. Well, nice to hang around. We've got one more.
Got one more.
New disinfection building construction.
Yeah, so the new disinfection building construction is coming along. If you've been down there to wastewater plant, there's a big tent down there that's enclosed where the building's going to be. The contractor set it up so they could keep working through the winter. The foundation's in, the structural steel's in place. The interior block walls are just about done. The exterior block facing is in progress. And sometime later this year, that tent's going to come down, and eventually we're hoping to have a big unveiling of this new building. And what this disinfection building is going to do is to store the chemicals that we use to disinfect the wastewater right near the tank that does the disinfection. Right now, they're all stored at the opposite end of the plant, and there's inefficiencies and other issues associated with pumping it that far. And this new building will also have appropriate secondary containment for the storage tanks and for the delivery trucks. That's required by regulation. So it's a safety issue too. For those of you that have toured the plant, you might remember there's multiple processes down there, 3 basic types: physical, biological, and chemical. The physical and biological processes are basically taking all the stuff out of the wastewater and turning it into the biosolids. And then the last step is the most important, is where we disinfect the wastewater so that the pathogens, the disease-causing organisms or germs get destroyed, so that we don't have a waterborne disease problem out in the river, out in the lake with swimmers, bathers, people that are drawing their water out of there. So it is the most important part of the process. So we're excited about having a better process there. But the building too is, at least the exterior, some of the facade work is designed to help convey that importance to the public and to initiate some conversations about wastewater treatment and how critical it is and how critical disinfection is. So we're really excited to have that tent come off and see the rest of the exterior work be finished, because it's going to look different than your normal ugly big blob of concrete that you typically see at a wastewater plant. So just wanted to give you a little prelude to what's going on down there, and hopefully you like the color scheme. So any questions on that?
Really exterior decorated?
I had to make the final decision, but I got a lot of input from folks, because my wife will be the first to tell you, John's not allowed to do colors. All right, don't let him do colors. So I had a lot of help with the colors and materials, and so cool. All right.
Thanks very much, John. Community development, we have a draft resolution amendment 1 to parking kiosk purchase and service.
Motion.
Second. Discussion.
Jeff seconded that. Counselor Moore, sorry, Counselor Moore. This is an amendment to the original contract to include the permitting software for the kiosks. As a reminder to folks, we have an actual permit system in the city of Plattsburgh that people pay what, $1.50 a day?
It's $3 a day.
$3 a day. It's rudimentary at best and faked at most. This is a change to the kiosk software to allow for users to purchase permits at the point of sale, or no, online.
There's an online portal where everyone is encouraged to purchase their permits. The data is fed directly into the system, and the enforcement software can track all of that in real time. So one of our enforcement officers walks up to a car in a lot that has permit parking. They check the license plate. If it comes up as the owner of a permit, she keeps walking. If it's not, and she has to pay an hourly fee, she issues a ticket. So it's all very automated and increases efficiency greatly in the administration of the system.
It seems like that we talked at one time about moving the enforcement part to IPS, or are we still talking about that?
We're still talking about that, based on the way that our current contract with our current enforcement provider is structured. We're not in a position to cancel that this year. We have to wait till next year.
Okay,
So there are some additional fees to integrate that technology with the IPS system, but it is still our intention when we are in a position to cancel that contract to transition everything over to IPS. So
okay.
all of the systems aspects are under one umbrella.
So with this $9,000, we're getting the ability to buy a permit, and also as a link between IPS and Complus.
Correct. There's,
Both of
so
them.
the permit system itself, the upfront fee is $5,000. There are ongoing administrative fees throughout, and will be factored into the cost of the system. There's a $2,000 integration fee to allow for Complus to speak to the IPS system. There's a second integration fee to allow for Park Mobile, which is the most widely known mobile payment platform for parking systems, to integrate with the IPS system as well. So the 9K is split up that way, 5K for the permit system and then 2K for each of those integrations.
Okay, thank you, Matt.
Matt, I had a question for you. I know we've been putting a lot of work into this, everyone has. When do we think you anticipate we might be putting this online? I mean, it's gonna be ready for the summer, or is we gonna still be batting this around?
The beach is tentatively scheduled for a Memorial Day opening. That's Friday, May 27th. We are aiming to have the beach system at least up and running 2 weeks or so before that, to give us time to work out any kinks and also to give the public time to get familiar with the system. There is a separate downtown system which everyone is familiar with. The idea is to use the beach as a proving ground, so if there are any issues with the system, we get them worked out there before we roll out the more complex system down here downtown, where it will affect many more people and a lot of businesses.
Very good. Looking forward to it.
We are also having a conversation, and I know Councilor Kelly's been part of this conversation around the entire parking scheme. Matt has been working very hard on pricing structures, timelines, additional kiosks, which will all come packaged to the council next week as well, to have a more broader conversation on timelines and pricing.
Great. Is there any other discussion on this item? If not, we can proceed to vote. All in favor of moving this to the regular agenda, please signify by saying aye.
All right,
Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Okay, Public Works. 4.1. Resolution authorizing the right of entry property license agreement for Lake Forest Senior Living Community. Have a motion? Councilor Kelly, Councilor Talon, second. I believe we did this once before, so.
Yep, this is a typical access agreement for Lake Forest to go and responsibly remove excess vegetation on their view shed, something that we do every single year with not only Lake Forest, there's another community group out on the lake that we provide that for as well. Harbor View, thank you. That comes through. Yes.
Okay, is there any further discussion on this item? If not, all in favor of moving this to regular agenda, signify by saying aye.
all right.
All opposed, motion is carried. Moving on to Public Works, we have draft whoops, that's not what we just did. Sorry about that. 4.2, resolution title authorizing revising capital project H5110.85 2022 public service buildings.
Make a motion.
I'll second. Discussion?
This is an expense for ADA to do the evaluation on the roof, as well as the city steps. The approved amount, here is an estimate, for the city steps. But as we also discussed, I think last year we did a patch, on the roof, and next year we're looking at taking on repairing the roof. So instead of bringing them back twice, bring them here once to do an evaluation on the steps and the roof at the same time.
Yeah, I think this is long overdue. I remember those front steps are pretty shaky, some of them. And then they need to be repaired properly.
Yes.
And the roof is gonna be, this is going to do the study and
So this
Hopefully
does
next
the
year.
evaluation of the roof and provides some background, provides us some guidance on what's next with the roof. Next year, we'll be coming back with a spending resolution to fix the roof.
okay, is there any further discussion of this item? If not, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion is carried.
And sorry, that was the change, that one that we just passed was a change to the capital project. This is authorizing the payment.
Resolution 4.3, approval of evaluation of the roof for potential replacement and the entry stairs for repair setting for City Hall.
Motion.
Second.
Second, Council Kelly. Any discussion on this one? This is kind of goes in with the other one.
Yep.
No discussion, can proceed to vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion is carried. 4.4, draft resolution authorizing revising capital project H 5110.8422 street resurfacing.
This is,
Sorry, I make the motion for this, please.
sure.
Second by Council Kelly.
Any questions? Basically what it was is Michael made a mistake during the creation of the capital project. Instead of putting in Louisiana, I put in Kentucky. So we want to switch it back around.
Yeah, this looks like a good ambitious project for this year. I know we got killed by the weather again this year.
But it's phase one. Now, we still have two other phases. We're looking, obviously, we're looking at Bridge Street, and then over on the hill, there's another three sections or three more streets going to be there too. So,
The only way to beat the potholes, you gotta stay ahead of it.
Yeah, until next year.
Any discussion on this item? If not, we can proceed to vote to move to the regular agenda. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed. Motion is carried. 4.5 is a discussion infrastructure report.
okay, I'll give you the general overview of what's going on. The past week, we've started with our on-water work. Both launches have been installed. We actually got the Wilcox Marina in today. And hopefully by Wednesday, Dock Street will be fully installed. Athletic fields, we got ahead of it a little bit today. Things are starting to dry up, but the athletic fields, again, started with some basic striping and conditioning. They are doing field play. I think the school is out there right now. Routine spring cleanup for the grounds, parks, where it's dry, we're out there working. Pothole repair, the crew's out there daily. It's an uphill battle. We're gaining on that. The next one, number 5, is big, and we're gonna start tomorrow. This is we were prepping for the repairs we have water main breaks over there. 2 severe ones, one on Oak Street and one on City Hall Place. Last night on City Hall Place, the frost let loose and we had a sizable sinkhole, so we had to put some road plates in. We're gonna be there tomorrow. It's gonna be a vacuum excavated job. It's really heavy with utilities. So it'll be, it's not so much a difficult repair as far as the pipe, but what's around it's gonna make it difficult. So that one we're going after tomorrow. And then Oak Street, that section, we're waiting on parts. They have been ordered. Parts are very expensive right now, just like everything else. So once those arrive, we will schedule and complete that repair, prepare for paving. Street sweeping, as weather permits and temperature permits, we had, the sweeper was out today, one of the two. We're waiting on a part for the other one. We did have 2 freeze-ups last week because of temperatures, but we'll start getting ahead of it. There has been increased volume of UFPOs. So our locating people are out, both Andrew and Connor, a little bit more doing that work. We were preparing for this season. We're going to go and do another round of sewer and cleaning and televising. It's been about 3 years since we did I think we did 26 miles 3 years ago, which sounds like a lot, but it's a fraction overall.
65 miles.
Yeah. So we're going to hopefully try to get another 20 miles in this year. City Beach, we had a couple days out there getting some of the low sand cleaned up and getting prepared, getting that cleaned up. We had a little side project last week where Mead Reservoir, we helped John out. We built a road for him for his drill people to get in and out. So that's been the current, what our guys been up to. As far as capital projects, PSAP, we're still working towards a rebid. Kogan Ave, last Friday, we went through the final punch list and kind of got a rough timeline as to when they're going to start it. We're looking at about 2.5 weeks, depending on the weather. Get that closed. New York Road is prepared to go out to bid. We got the final.
We're close to it. We got a review comments that are easy to resolve. So.
Well, the comments have been in there. So, yeah, so we're real close on New York Road. But that's looking like a fall bid or fall construction, I would say, if we get the bids in time. Beekman Street's still in design. And then DPW heating system, that is complete. And we're waiting on just closeout documents. So as-built drawings. Staffing, we were able to hire MEO, Public Works 1 and 2 laborers. Those positions that are still here, everything's so far so good as far as people staying on the job. We've had problems retaining employees in the past. We're going to have to advertise for seasonal temps for the beach, and that will happen hopefully next week. And also advertising for replacement for engineering technician. The other miscellaneous items which we have not gotten to are the Cdl rules, which is, I think we spoke about at the last meeting, which is the new federal highway administration rules for Cdl licenses and how to obtain them. And there's a sizable fee for that. And we're going to try to hopefully find a way to mitigate it. And then also long lead motor fleet purchasing. With the way the world is now, we're talking lead times of, 18 to 24 months. So I did speak to Chamberlain Marks, and we had a discussion about not so much buying we're not paying for a vehicle, but we're getting a slot for a vehicle. So we might have to create a capital project, create a PO, for a truck that's 2 years down the road. So we're making a list of those critical items and trying to figure out how we're going to go about doing this. Because my great fear is that I'll get to a point where I need something and it's 2 years out. So we've already found that out with pickup trucks. Any questions on the list?
Really, do you get a lot of sand in the storm drains or anything? I don't
Yeah,
you guys
we
get
do.
end up
So
cleaning
they'll-
those quarters.
So the first thing they'll go through, and the second sweeper is a combination sweeper. So it's a sweeper and a back truck. So to get, we do the curb line first, and they'll just keep making the rounds over both trucks will go out. And then the second truck will convert to a vac truck. So there'll be a crew of 2 and they go basin to basin. It usually takes about the whole summer, but they actually vac all the basins out. It's 590. 686. He knows the number. So yeah, so it's an all summer job, but yes, we do vac them all out. And then a lot of these new projects like Kogan Ave in Maine have stormwater treatment units, which are for technic units, what they call them, and those also have to be cleaned.
Wow, is this something new regulation?
Yes.
To do that?
Yeah, anything that you're disturbing more than an acre DEC requires you to install protective unit.
How do these things work?
It's a big concrete structure and it kind of has like a swirly.
Yeah, it basically makes a big tornado.
Yeah, tornado, and it
Pushes all
separates
the
out.
sediment out to the side and allows allows the water to pass so that your sediment doesn't get pushed down. the line.
Does it, it's sort of like a grit chamber in a garage. You would have like in our public works garage, you would have a trench drain that would go into a grit chamber to separate the grit, and it would have a whole water separator. Does it work? Great. I've put in a bunch in, my previous life. I think I put in maybe a dozen of these things. Have I ever cleaned many? We just started cleaning them here. Everything collects sand. The catch basins are full of sand. Manholes are full of sand, and so we go through them back and out.
Well, I just had one other question. I just thought of it. Is it our heating system over there at the plant working now?
At
The
my,
garage?
at my garage, yeah, it's been where, yeah, it was up and running. We actually got the heat on. The boiler was changed out before Christmas. But we ended up going through and doing, final balancing. We had a couple unit heaters that weren't working, but yeah, it's been up and running.
Great.
And it did well. What we're trying to chart, and I'll probably pull the numbers, is I'm not going to give you dollar amounts because obviously the cost of natural gas has gone up, but how many cubic feet of natural gas we use per month compared to the previous months of the previous years.
It should be big savings.
They're saying as much as 30%. So hopefully that works out.
Thanks.
Okay.
I guess at this point, is there any new business? Public comment? No. No, sorry, there's no. Just before we close, though, I want to congratulate Andrew on his new position. I guess I'll entertain a motion to adjourn then. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
All right, thanks, folks.